A millionaire takes a homeless boy to a barber and calls the police after noticing what's in the boy's hair. The smell of stale grease and engine oil lingers in the air as Zia sits huddled behind a dumpster near the city square, knees pulled to his chest, fingers clutching a half-eaten sandwich crust. He hadn't eaten a proper meal in 3 days. His shirt clings to his ribs, his hair wild, thick, and matted, hanging over his eyes like a curtain. People pass by him, some glance. Most ignore. Then she appears, a tall, blonde woman dressed in an elegant green designer dress and heels far too clean for this street. Her presence is impossible to overlook. Her name is Victoria Langford, a tech investor, entrepreneur, and one of the youngest female millionaires in the state. She isn't known for softness. In fact, she's feared in boardrooms. But something about the boy makes her stop. He neither begs nor looks up. "Hey," she says softly. He flinches. She kneels, the concrete dirtying her dress without a second thought. "What's your name?" "Zahir." He whispers. "Are you alone?" She hesitates, then removes her coat and drapes it around him. "You're coming with me." 10 minutes later, they step into Ray's Cuts and Styles, a small, old-school barber shop tucked between a pawn shop and a payday loan office. The bell above the door jingles as they enter. Raymond, the barber, middle-aged, with long blonde hair tucked behind his ears, looks up in surprise. "Miss Langford." He blinks. "Didn't expect to see you here. I need a favor," she says softly, guiding Zahir forward. "He needs a serious cleanup. I'll pay triple." Ray nods. "Of course. Right this way." "Young man." Zahir remains silent, following quietly, dragging his feet as he sits in the old barber's chair. A loose cape drapes over his shoulders. Victoria steps outside to answer a phone call. Raymond gets to work, spraying water, massaging shampoo into the boy's hair, then gently combing through the tangled mess. But he pauses, noticing something hard beneath the boy's scalp. Frowning, he slowly parts the hair, revealing a small inflamed bump stitched crudely with dark thread, almost buried beneath the curls. "What the?" he mutters, brushing aside more hair. Leaning closer, his stomach turns. Beneath the skin, there's a small metal object, shaped like a flattened capsule, barely protruding. The stitches aren't medical. They look rough, sewn in a rush, almost without anesthesia. The skin around it is red and irritated. Ray swallows hard. "Zahir," he says gently, "does that hurt?" The boy tenses but doesn't answer. Ray touches it again. The boy whispers, "I think it buzzes sometimes." That's when Ray's hands begin to shake. He steps back from the chair, grabs his phone, and dials 911. 911. "What's your emergency?" "This is Raymond Matthews. I'm at Ray's Cuts on 9th. I have a boy here, and someone stitched a tracker into his head. I think he's being followed, maybe hunted. You need to get here now." Just as he hangs up, the bell above the door bursts open. Victoria storms in, heels clicking sharply. Her eyes lock onto Ray. "What happened?" she demands. Ray points to the boy, still frozen in the chair. "There's something in his head, stitched under the skin. He didn't even know." Victoria's breath catches. She strides forward, her face hard but her voice trembling. She brushes back the boy's curls, sees the wound, and gasps. "What the hell?" she whispers. "Who did this to you?" Zahir doesn't speak, just looks at her, eyes wide with fear. But not only fear, there's trust. Victoria stands, slowly turning to Ray. "You called the police?" Ray nods. "They're on their way." "Good," she says, "because someone's going to answer for this." The flashing red and blue lights streak across the cracked tiles of the barbershop floor. Within minutes, 2 officers step inside. Victoria doesn't flinch. She stands beside Zahir, one hand on his shoulder, the other clutching her phone tightly. Her green dress is now stained from the alley. Her heels are scratched from chasing the truth, but her posture remains steel. He has something stitched into his scalp. She states plainly, I want a forensic team, trauma specialist to examine him, and I want to know who put it there. The lead officer glances at the barber and then at Zaire. Kid, he says gently, do you know who did this to you? Zaire shakes his head, lips trembling. Victoria kneels beside him. It's okay. You don't have to remember everything now, but we're going to find out. I promise. Hours later, Zaire is transferred to a private wing of a children's hospital under Victoria's name. The surgeon removed the object from his scalp, a micro-tracking chip, typically used in black market trafficking networks. The stitches are crude, done by hand, likely without anesthetic. Worsening matters. They find marks on his back. He's been branded, claimed by someone. Victoria stands at the hospital window, staring out at the city lights, her jaw clenched. She recognizes the branding, an emblem from an expose years ago. Buried in court with settlements and hush money during a failed investment, she thought she'd escaped that world. She was wrong. A man named Jorgen Vantrell, posing as a logistics investor during her early tech days, had once approached her. She pulled funding after suspecting shady dealings, but never reported him, fearing legal fallout. Now, a child nearly died because of silence. Victoria calls in every favor, hiring private investigators, a security firm, even a trauma counselor specializing in children recovering from captivity. Zaire doesn't speak much, but he watches her, how she shows up every day, every meal, every check-in, how she remains unflinching when the surgeon describes the scar tissue or warns that Zaire might suffer long-term auditory migraines from the infection. She simply asks, what will it take to help him heal? They tell her, and she pays without hesitation. 3 weeks later, police raid a storage warehouse on the city's outskirts. Inside, they find 8 more children, huddled in cages meant for animals. All bear the same stitch wound. Some can't speak. One clutches a photograph of Zaire, the boy who escaped. Someone had been trying to get him back. The investigation makes national headlines. Arrests follow. Jorgen Vantrell is found hiding in a hotel under a false name. His lawyers don't even bother to argue once the evidence from the barber shop is revealed. Victoria stands before the press, her voice calm but firm. I ignored a red flag once. She declares, that will never happen again. The world doesn't get to bury its sins behind money and convenience, not when children are paying the price. 6 months later, Zaire stands in the same barber shop. His hair is freshly braided, wearing a clean white shirt, and smiling so much so that Raymond, who refused payment, bursts into tears. The scar remains faint under his left braid, but he wears it proudly as a badge. Victoria officially adopted him 2 weeks earlier. Now, he lives in a quiet home with a golden retriever named Solo, a telescope by the window, and a safe place to sleep. At a charity gala that winter, Zaire takes the stage beside Victoria. He clears his throat, and the room falls silent. I used to think I was trash, he says softly, voice small but steady, that no one would care what happened to me. Then someone saw me. She didn't give me money. She gave me safety, a name, and a home. He looks up at Victoria, eyes glassy. Thank you for finding me before they did. The crowd erupts in applause. Victoria reaches for his hand. She doesn't say a word. She doesn't have to, because the boy she saved is now saving her. 2. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. And let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.